Hello, everybody. Welcome, one and all, to the first video, the first recording of Campaign 2. Explorers of Elsewhere, Elysia Rising. We are here. It's happening. We have dusted off the character creation backgrounds, and we have a plethora of lovable scamps here ready to tear up an already destroyed city. Hello, I'm DM Dan, and welcome the five of you to the new campaign. There are some new faces to the main channels, but everyone here has been in an Explorers video at some point. Hi Nate.
Hi.
Hi Meg.
Hello, I'm back.
She's back. Hello Julia.
Hello.
And hello JC.
Hello.
Hello, and hello ERIOL.
Hi.
Hi. Yes. Brand new team. We've only got one veteran from campaign 1. So it'll be good to see all of the weird and wonderful craziness that we're, all these new faces are going to bring to campaign 2. Because it's not just a new campaign, it's a new system as well. We're running Blades in the Dark. There is none of this roll 46, drop the lowest tomfoolery. No, we have hard pips and stats from Blades of the Dark. I'm excited for this. Are we all excited, or is this going to be a really, really short campaign?
Excited. Definitely excited.
Amazing. So, yes, just to very quickly re-highlight, Campaign 2, Explorers of Elsewhere, Elysia Rising, is going to be using the Blades in the Dark system. I definitely kept that under wraps over the past few months. It was a surprise to everyone involved.
We only just found out tonight.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Just pulled the game system out of the hat. So we're going to be running Blades in the Dark. For those who have watched other things on the channel, anyone who's been tuning into the Shadowrun campaign, which wrapped on New Year's Eve, very, very similar, albeit a fantasy version. So we will have a plethora of 5 lovable scoundrels desperately clawing their way through the muck and filth of the Lost City. It runs a bit quite differently to D&D. It's a lot more, I would say it's a lot more fast-paced, a bit more narrative. Time is not linear in Blades of the Dark, as it is. If you like your heist TV shows, or heist films, then it's going to have a very, very similar feel to it. But enough of me talking, enough waffling. We're here to make some characters. We've already done a little bit of legwork in preparation for this, but there's still some question marks on these character sheets that hopefully we're going to get resolved tonight. So who's feeling brave? Who wants to be the first to put their head above the parapets?
Go on then.
Don't rush.
Go on then, I'll go first.
Okay, hello Nate. Hi.
Hello.
So you're gonna fundamentally be our guinea pig. So Blades of the Dark, everyone has a scoundrel. If we were talking in D&D terms, basically it's oops or rogues, but different flavors of. We don't have classes, we have playbooks. So we also have, however, because it's not in here, because this is Elsewhere version, we also have lineages. So Nate, paint me a picture. Which lineage, playbook, what's your lineage and playbook that you're thinking for your character?
So the lineage I'm going with, the lineage is the Elsewhere races, if I'm correct. So the lineage I'm actually going with is a dragon scent. So as people, if they watched the first campaign, there was only one dragon scent in the last campaign, which I'm not spoilering, but you'll be able to notice him. You'll know who he was.
Attract did nothing wrong.
He did. But yes, I'm gonna take a stab at giving that sort of lineage a go.
Okay.
Regarding the playbook,
Mm.
I'm gonna go with a slide. So a slide is the more sort of kind of charismatic, Weasley wants, sort of is the kind of character that sort of, gets in with all the, like, uses a lot of charisma and things to sort of get what they want. They're sort of like a spy. They're sort of like a bit of a wormy character that will just try and get things out of people.
Like the social sleuth.
Yes, exactly. I was struggling to find words for it. There you go. Thank you.
So you're able to get into places you're not supposed to be through words from your silver tongue.
Yes, that is my goal.
Amazing.
And regarding the background, I think we spoke about the background.
Yes. So just to quickly run through that, background's pretty similar to how they operate in D&D. There are a kind of prescribed number that the Blades in the Dark rules offer us. We've pretty much all gone for them, although it's more kind of informative, if anything. So yeah, what was your background?
I think, if I remember correctly, it was Underground I was going with. Underworld, that's what it's called.
Underworld? Sure.
Yes. And so Underworld are sort of like the criminals, the more of sort of like the common folk who didn't really, more sort of involved in sort of like the underworld crime sort of sector. Not necessarily, well, we're all criminals at the end of the day, but sort of in that sort of sense.
Yeah, so very much like an outcast growing up in the streets and not fitting in with the status quo. Okay, so yeah, we're tagging Underworld. Any particular flavors of Underworld that you're thinking?
Not particularly that I can think of right now. he's like from what I've got in my head, it's very much not. So he grew up in the underworld, but he wants to very much be part of the underworld and very much involves himself in the sort of underbelly of the city that we're going to be in.
Okay, very, very good. Okay, so we've got a dragon scent slide who with a background in the underworld. Very good. I'm going to go clockwise around the screen. So hello, Mog.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hi there. Hello.
So, last time round, you helmed a keeper druid bard,
Keeper druid bard, and then things happened. No spoilers.
Yeah, got quite poorly
and they ended up
and got
being
better.
yeah, and then kind of Ooh, spoilers. But yes, keeper druid, and this time I'm going almost complete antithesis to that. I'm going for a Wolfkin Cutter. So that's my lineage and playbook respectively.
Please tell me all about Cutter. What is that?
So Cutter is your fighter, your muscle, is the person who both asks and answers questions with their fists or with some sort of weapon, but I'm mainly going fists.
Sure. Wonderful. Okay, so a Wolfkin Cutter, Wolfkin, obviously there was the whole village of Ekabosdir, a very kind of passionate and quick to emotions kind of group of people. Where did your Wolfkin Cutter come from? What's their background?
Well, their background is labour, because they've got to develop all those bulging muscles somehow, right? So going labour. So if you've played like Blades in the Dark before, think more like labour camps and workhouses, sort of.
A servant, a factory worker, a coach driver,
Yes.
etc. Very, very good. Okay, so we know she's polar opposite to Addy.
Yeah, if Addy was the gentle giant mostly, my new character is more the sort of hot-tempered, scrappy type.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Okay, thank you very much. Moving on. Hello, Errol. Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome. Welcome to the
Thanks.
Explorers main campaign. Which lineage and playbook are you blessing us with?
I am playing a goblin.
Yes.
I'm super excited to play a goblin.
Immediate favourite character. You're all my favourite children, don't worry. But also than anyone else.
There are no favourites, yeah. And my playbook is Ookie Spooky Whisper.
What is so ooky and spooky about whispers?
I guess they don't have to be ooky and spooky, but they are supposed to be somewhat more aligned with and attuned to spirits or the arcane of some description.
Yes.
So the weird stuff that's going on.
Sure. So yes, as we found out from the trailer, Elysia finds itself in a bit of a predicament, floating through the void, like an endless sea of souls, protected by a large kind of magical sphere, and we'll find out that, like as the campaign goes on, that arcane magic it isn't what you'd use as your icebreaker in a social environment, is it? But yeah, so it'd be interesting to see. Like Whisper is basically the spellcaster class for Blades in the Dark, so that'll be very, very interesting to see. What background are we thinking?
If I remember correctly, I think we settled on Underworld, although we had a little bit of discussion about possibly trade, because there's like the far background and then the most recent background, which is more underworldy. So.
Sure. I mean, well, arguably either or. I say it's more background is more informative for like character development kind of thing. So I mean, yeah, we could say trade or underworld. Obviously, we know what underworld is: trade, a shopkeeper, a merchant, a skilled craftsperson, etc. But I mean, what were you thinking for the background? Like, what is it that make it like one or the other? Is it purely pre and post Banff?
I would say it's pre and post Banff, but I would say like it'll be interesting to see for the character whether there is more embracing of the more recent underworld kind of happenings, or maybe there might be a circling back to some of the tradesperson origin. You never know. So we'll go with underworld for now, and then we'll see what happens.
Sure. Okay. Well, we'll go one back. I'll do underworld / trade. Marvelous. Swinging to the other side. Greetings, JC.
Greetings, Dan.
Hello. Once gracing our screens via Brindlewood Bay. As I understand it, your Campaign 2 character is somewhat different to...
You're a little Northern Irish nana, yeah.
Yes, just a little bit of a little bit of difference. What is the lineage and playbook of your character?
So I'll be playing an Asavar, who are quite similar to the elves of standard Dungeons and Dragons. They live a long time. He's from an awfully privileged background.
Yes.
Although something slightly different about him is he is also what's known as a Sanguivar.
Yes.
He's found himself amongst a minority of Asavar who have been afflicted mysteriously with red eyes.
Yes, so with piercing blood red eyes, we'll delve into the mysteries of the Sanguivar and what that means for the Sanguivar, the Asavar known as Sanguivar themselves, and everyone around them. So a red-eyed Asavar, and what playbook?
I am going to be playing the Spider, the devious mastermind. the organizer
Ooh,
of crime.
okay, you are the man in the chair.
The person who puts the plan together.
Yes,
And the
absolutely.
beautiful thing about Blaze in the Dark is that you can do it in post, essentially, via the use of flashback.
Yes. So yeah, that's one of the things I'm going to be really excited for is because the game is so kind of fundamentally kind of heist driven and there's scores and missions and that. One of the mechanics is that you can pause the action, do a flashback, and then roll some dice, and that may well change circumstances in the future to allow you to continue on, or add another kink in the plan, which is always fun. And yeah, Spider sounds like they're really, really good at that. Okay, so a Sangovar Spider. What background are we thinking?
I am going for a military background.
Okay.
He is a former intelligence officer who has spent a decade or so of his life in the foreign field as a spy, essentially.
Sure. I know we've kind of quickly discussed it, but yeah, from a setting perspective, you would have been on the side of the Divine, a spy for sort of like Aya's side, so spying on like the arcane legions, and yeah, back in Elysia when it popped out of existence before the war ended. Very, very interesting. Looking forward to that. And last but not least, hello, Julia.
Hello.
Hello. So certainly not your first foray on main campaign, but welcome back. We missed you from Cormier times. What's your character?
So I'm also going to be playing an Asavar, although not one that has been afflicted with the red eyes.
Sure.
And the playbook I have chosen is the Lurk.
A lurk. That sounds ominous. What does a lurk do?
A Lurk is kind of like it can be a few things. It's the sneakiest, probably, of all the playbooks. So
The roguey rogue.
the roguey rogue, the cat burglars, the assassins, that sort of
Sure.
ilk. The person who puts on a dark cowl and leathers and tries to creep in to infiltrate and all that sort of thing.
Sure. The expertise stealth takers. Wonderful.
Pixel
Okay.
locks and yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so you're an Asavar lurk, and what background are you thinking?
So I chose a sort of nobility background.
Okay.
So this character is part of a noble family, but for various reasons has learned various skills throughout, sort of on the quiet throughout her growing up, her life, and has begun running with a crew, sort of moonlighting almost as a sort of criminal type for reasons of her own, which will become apparent.
Wonderful. Okay, looking forward to that. Okay, amazing. So, Dragon Sense Slide, so the Charmer, a Wolfkin Cutter, the Muscle Mummy, Goblin Whisper, the Kooky Cutie, the Pragmatic Asavar Spider, and a sneaky Asavar Lurk. Wonderful. So, each of the playbooks gives you a number of action points, which you are basically your kind of attributes. So, if we to compare to D&D, like that would have strength, dexterity, constitution, so on and so forth. In Blaze of the Dark, instead you have like 12 abilities split into 3 groups of 4, and yeah, your playbooks kind of determine 3 of these dots, and each of these red dots is a dice. So, for example, Dragon Sense Slides don't get that. They get Consort. Don't mind me. They get 1 point in Consort, and they get 2 points in Sway. So, if during gameplay, as it currently stands, if Nate's dragon scent were to attempt to sway someone with honeyed words, you would roll 2 dice because you've got 2 pips. However, you do get to assign another 4 pips across your stats. Now, realistically, you're we should allocate 2 based on heritage or lineage in our case, and your background, which I think we've pretty much done. But it is quite loosey-goosey, and then there are 2 that are completely freeform. So with that in mind, starting background again, Nate, where are you putting your 4 other dots?
So I am going to put another little pip in consort.
Okay.
As well.
So we can all go to a maximum of 2 to begin with?
From what I know from the rules, we can only do a maximum of 2.
Mm-hmm.
To go with a... I'm also going to put a pip in survey as well.
Okay, yeah. 1 pip in survey. So that's the perception?
Pretty much. Just checking the area, seeing what's happening, checking the people in the area. It's not so much like a insight sort of thing. It's more, as you said, sort of perception. I'm also going to go with a pip in finesse, I think. That's when you do the fancy things.
The fancy
you
fancies.
Go, da-da. So it's a bit like performance, I would say. Finesse. And I'm also going to put my last pip in prowl. I like to think that might be a little bit related to my background. If I'm used to the underworld, then sort of a little bit of slight stealth will help me, I think.
Sure, amazing. Okay, so extra 1 in consort, and then 1 in survey, finesse, and prowl. So, marvellous. So we've got 7 pips across your character sheet. As I mentioned earlier, the 12 abilities are split up across 3 categories: insight, prowess, resolve. Prowess is the kind of the more physical type of abilities. Resolve is the kind of the willpower and mental fortitude, and the insight is like the intelligence kind of comprehension style. And though insight, prowess, and resolve checks come in to the game at a later point, so we can see that where you've got 2 points in prowess and 2 points in resolve, because you've got points in some of those skills, you've only got 1 point in insight, which, to be fair, is pretty much the case for everyone. Wonderful. Moving on down, Meg, as a cutter, let me flick to the cutter page. So cutters, who deal with the most direct form of diplomacy, they start with 2 pips in skirmish and 1 pip in command. So skirmish is your ability to engage in slobber-knockery, and command is, well, it's the forceful giving of instruction, whether or not it's you're being friendly when you say it or not. Well, where are your other 4 pips going?
So I'm going to double down on command.
Okay.
Because I think my character is, part of their Wolfkin background. They're very passionate. They, they definitely know how to take control of the power in immediate situations.
Okay.
I am also going to put 2 pips into consort.
Okay. So that's the consort being the persuasion. But no, consort it's the shoulder rubbing, it's the getting to know yous kind of thing. So it's a bit like persuasion, but that's also kind of sway at the same time. So consort, 2 in consort.
Yeah, 2 in consort. Because I think they. Their background being, very much of those lower classes, of those factory working kind of things. They definitely know their way around the sort of the streets and know their way around people. And then I'm going to put a little cheeky pip in sway, because nothing quite influences like the threat of violence, and I think that will definitely give them some sway in certain situations.
Okay, very interesting. Okay, so 3 in resolve, 1 in prowess, and 0 in insight. I can't imagine that will ever come to bite you in the bum. we will see once the dice start flying. Okay.
Who needs insight when you've got knuckles?
Knuckle dusters.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. Thank you very much, Meg. So, ERIOL, whispers start with 2 pips in attune, which is the ability to interact with like creatures of a magical disposition, spirits and whatnot, and also a pip in study. As you have to have some book smarts to not immediately get eaten by the ghosts or demons that you summon.
You do indeed. So we get 7 more pips to spend. Is that correct?
4 more
Or
pips,
how-
so 7 in
4,
total.
sorry. 4. Thank you. Because I was just writing down stuff and I was like, oh no, I've got too many things I want to spend. Okay, so I feel I want to, similar to my friends, I'm going to double down into study.
Yeah. We like them book smarts.
We do. I'm also going to put 2 pips in Tinker.
Okay. So Tinker is like the invention stat, I guess.
Yeah, it says fiddling with devices and mechanisms.
Sure.
I want to fiddle with things, Dan.
Sure. That tracks.
And I think my last one,
Uh-huh.
I feel like I want to put it in rec.
Okay. So the definition of wreck is something along the lines of dealing with something with extreme amounts of violence. You
use
unleash
the
savage
word-
force.
They use the word explosion in the description, so
Yes.
you'll-
Yes. Yes. So yeah, I guess the difference between skirmish and wreck. In skirmish, you might punch someone, but if you wreck instead, then you tear a nearby door off its hinges and batter them with that instead. Wonderful. Or just throw a grenade at them. Wonderful. Okay, so 2 in study, 2 in tinker, 1 in wreck, 2 in attune. Very, very good. Swinging over to the other side again. Hello, JC.
Hello.
As a spooder, you start with 2 in consort, and you start with 1 in study. Where might the other 4 pip be going?
So I'm definitely bumping study up to 2.
Okay, marvellous.
I'm putting 1 in survey,
Okay.
and I'm putting 1 each in command and sway.
Command and sway. Okay, very interesting. So, I guess the whole thing about spiders effectively being able to operate away from the front lines. Arguably, really going to need the physical kind of stats all that often. So, yeah, very interesting. So,
I was tempted for 1 in skirmish, but I think if that happens, I'll just let the dice decide.
and or Meg's character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marvellous. Okay, so yeah, 2 in study, 1 in survey, 1 in commands, 2 in consort, 1 in sway. Last but not least, again, hello Julia. So lurks, as befitting their profession, start with 2 in prowl and 1 in finesse.
That's correct.
Where am I putting dots for the other 4?
So I see this character as more of the sneaky infiltrator than the kind of aggressive assassin type. I think she'd rather get in and out quietly than confront anyone if at all possible.
Sure.
I was tempted to put a 2nd in finesse because everybody has put a 2nd pip in something, but I'm not gonna.
Okay.
I'm gonna. There are too many other skills I want to be somewhat decent at.
Yes.
So I've decided to put, so under prowess, I'd like a pip in skirmish, because I do think even though she's not going out of her way to fight people, if it does come to a confrontation, she needs to be able to look after herself.
Sure.
I'm gonna put 1 in sway, because I think as a noble, as a lady who's had all that sort of deportment training and the like, I think she probably would have learned how to talk to people and sort of manipulate and demand to a certain extent. So I think that she's definitely got at least 1 in sway.
Yeah.
And then under insight, I would like 1 in survey, because as a lurk, it's really good for her to be decent at
Got to keep an eye out. Yeah.
keep an eye out, exactly, casing places and all that. And I would like the last 1 in tinker, please, because she's going to be using her lockpicks a lot.
Yes.
And wanting to be good at sort of that sort of thing.
Amazing. Okay, so we've got 1 in finesse, 2 in prowl, 1 in skirmish, 1 in survey, 1 in tinker, 1 in sway. Very, very good. So that's our characters kind of spreads, our ability score spreads as the missions crack on, and as you start gaining experience. In Blaze of the Dark, you allocate like your experience points to various things, so you can choose to level up your playbook, so Slide Cutter, Whisper, Spider, Lurk, or you can choose to level up one of the 3 categories. So for example, if at some point Meg's character wants to get a point in rec, then you can allocate your experience points to prowess, and when the back bar fills up, then you can put a new pip in. Nice and easy like that. Okay, so the playbook, in order to do the things that you need to do, the playbooks also give you access to special abilities. And I think what we'll also do is we'll kind of flesh out the rest of the characters. So we'll go back round, we'll talk about which special ability from the list of choices we're all choosing are. But also we are, these characters are more than their playbooks. They know people, you have to, in a criminal world. So we're also going to discuss our close allies, our fated rivals, and your vice, what you turn to after a hard day's criminaling. So once again, starting background with Nate, which special ability are you going for as a side?
All of them sounded really fun, but
that's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, that is the problem. But I think what will probably do my character, 1 probably better, and 2 would probably actually suit him very well, being a dragon sense, and dragon sense are not very common lineage. I think I'm going to go with cloak and dagger.
Okay.
So when I use a disguise or other forms of convert misdirection, I get a 1 extra dice on my roll.
Okay, yeah. When you throw off your disguise, the resulting surprise gives you the initiative in the situation. Amazing. Okay. So yeah, you're that much more, well, as inconspicuous as you can be.
Yeah.
A little bit more. Okay,
with a big dragon head.
With a big old dragon snoot. Okay, so who is... the close allies of fated rivals. These are 2 NPCs that you bring to the table that will just kind of get thrown into the blender along with the rest of you. And you can turn to them. They'll have some development. So who's... what are we thinking for your close ally? What kind of ideas are we bouncing?
I think these will definitely make more sense as we talk about our characters' backgrounds as well.
Sure.
But his close ally is going to be one of the sex workers in the brothel called Amber Rose.
Amber Rose. Okay. And is Amber like the madame of the establishment?
No, she's just one of the workers there. She is a Luravar worker.
Amazing. And who might your kind of fated rival be? What have you got an idea for?
So his fated rival's going to be another dragon scent who works in the Church of Aya, called Dorothea.
Dorothea. Okay, another dragon scent, eh? And presumably we'll find out when we introduce your character properly why you and Dorothea might have beef. Okay, wonderful. And last but not least, your vice. After a hard day's work, what do you turn to?
So his vice is going to be pleasure.
Okay.
And that's going to be sort of different. It's going to be the pleasure of what he can get from people by using his rather silver tongue in many different senses of the word.
Okay. So basically the reason we look at vices is that one of the mechanics of Blades of the Dark is stress, which sort of partly analogizes to like hit points in D&D. You can choose to do things that are out of the ordinary in exchange for stress, and fundamentally you will go through your career criminal lives managing your stress levels. If you go too high, your stress can evolve into something a bit more drastic, but you can also indulge your vices. So in this case, pleasure. You do your pleasurable thing, and then that reduces your stress, ready for a new day. Okay, pleasure. Meg,
Hello.
which brutish special ability have you gone for?
I mean, really, there was only one choice, and I've gone with not to be trifled with.
Okay.
So that means that I can push myself to do one of the following: perform a feat of physical force that verges on superhuman, or engage a small gang on equal footing in a close combat. And I suppose my character definitely would have been like the last one standing in more than a few bar brawls and pub fights and nightclub skirmishes. So yeah, they've definitely, built themselves up as someone not to be trifled with in Elysia.
Okay, so yeah, you use the terminology push yourself. That is a thing that you can do. So in exchange for 2 stress, you're able to do the thing. So usually you can get like extra dice to add to your roll, or you can get additional effects off the back of the roll. But in this case, yeah, when you push yourself, effectively it means that you could square up to a gang of like 8 people and be on equal footing with them, as opposed to not being on equal footing with them. Okay, amazing. Without all the context, who is your close ally and fated rival?
Okay, so my close ally is someone called Joshua Ormond, and they are an ex-lover and also the organizer of an underground fighting ring in Elysia, which is somewhere that my character would have made a lot of their money early on their career.
Sure. Okay.
And
Joshua in the fighting bits. And yeah, who's your fated rival?
my fated rival is someone from my character's childhood and past, and their name is Caleb McNulty, and they are kind of think Victorian, like factory workhouses, and Caleb's kind of the owner, the proprietor of one of those places, which is where my character grew up.
Okay. And how does your cutter kick back?
Oh, stupor. I've gone with stupor, but specifically the oblivion only obtained by just pure, unadulterated violence. So I mentioned those fighting rings earlier.
Yeah.
that's where you'll find them after a hard day's punching people is punching more people.
Punching more people.
But
Okay,
maybe for
yeah.
a bit of coin.
Super. You seek oblivion in the abuse of drugs, drinking to excess, getting beaten to a pulp in the fighting pits, etc. Okay. Amazing. So not to be trifled with, Joshua Orman, Caleb Naughty, and Stupa. What weird and wonderful ability is ERIOL's character going for?
I still can't choose between two, so I'm going to leave it up to a d6. 1 to 3, ritual. 4 to 6, strange methods. Strange methods.
Strange methods. Okay, what's that do?
Strange methods allows me to invent or craft a creation with arcane features, which arguably is more useful to our gang, given that we
Sure.
know roughly what our gang be doing.
Sure. Okay.
Ghost bombs! All the ghost bombs!
I get 1 arcane design when we start, and then it's kind of up to benevolent GM to figure out how we may develop more arcane nuttiness.
No, amazing. So, yeah, when you invent, okay, yeah. So that's gonna. I mean, that's free reign, isn't it, for all sorts of shenanigans? Okay. I mean, I'm looking forward to and dreading that in equal measure. Strange methods, amazing. Close allies, fated rivals.
So close allies is a little bit more developed than the fated rival or the rival. So the close ally is Asma, who is a elderly goblin woman who is a spirit trafficker. She lives in the canals on a little houseboat. She's got big witch vibes.
Sure.
And
A
is
hat's bigger than her.
definitely, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Pockets full of various mulches, all with a specific purpose.
Sure. Absolutely.
Big hair, like the biggest, like tightest curly, poofy hair. Yeah, and it's just like the person that my character went to when, they were struggling.
Sure. Okay. And is that ESMER, Esma?
ASMA.
Or
Asma.
ASMA. Big pardon, Asma. Okay. Wonderful. So Asma, Goblin Witch, and your fated rival.
So I think we decided that the fated rival is ex-gang member from the gang that my character was very briefly in, that they made not good friends with. And the only notes I have is a name, Alejandro.
How do you spell that?
Alejandro. Yeah. And all I have for them is from the gang that my character is an ex-member of, fighter, bouncer, strong of arms, dumb of ass.
Okay. Amazing. Okay, so Asma and Alejandro. And what is your goblin's hobby?
Weird.
Weird. Okay. What does weird mean? What does that look like?
Weird is the book explanation of weird is you experiment with strange essences, consort with rogue spirits, observe bizarre rituals or taboos. And my character has an involved relationship with the sphere / the bubble.
The bubble.
Yes.
Bubble love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so lots of experiments and tests and whatnot on the nature of bubble. Okay, amazing. So strange methods, Asma, Alejandro, and weird vices. How does a Ace of Our spider differentiate themselves from other Ace of Our spiders? What special ability are we going for?
I'm keeping it simple to start with and going with foresight. twice per score, I can assist a teammate without paying stress, and I have to tell you how I prepared for this occasion.
Okay. So I guess if we're kind of imagining that your character is the one like looking at the map of the mission, I guess that's those cinematic cutaways where you've planned for this all along, right?
Yeah, so it gives me basically 2 extra bits of stress to spend on a sort of flashback, which I can help to give an extra dice to my teammates during one of their actions.
Amazing. Okay, so you can't be a spy in a war without having made some close allies and fated rivals. What do they look like?
So my ally is August Fairfax, and he's my oldest friend from private school.
Okay.
And he's a civil servant of some kind. This character sheet suggests an architect, but maybe he's a lawyer. He's sort of like my contact for the government and also for the network of old boys from the private school.
Sure. Okay. I'm loving that. And yeah, whose toes have you stepped on?
So for my rival, I thought I would have a rival blackmailer or an information broker. And I only know her as Blackthorn, and she's sort of like a female equivalent of my character, and she's one of the few people in the city who I have absolutely no idea who she is, and it drives me a bit loopy, but I'm also kind of excited by butting heads with her in the blackmail game.
Sure. Okay, I'm getting real strong Sherlock Moriarty vibes, but perhaps it's not abundantly clear, evidently clear who's who.
Yeah, I sort of morally in between the two.
Sure. Okay, amazing. And what is your vice?
So I've circled weird because there is a sort of arcane connection. My character uses this arcane chemical to give him visions, which he believes are premonitions of the future. And he uses it to sort of get involved in the lives of ordinary people and sort of nudge the scales of fate and coincidence in their favour. And it's basically reminding him why the people of Elysia matter and are worth saving in these trying times.
Sure. Okay. That's a good point. What I'll quickly do before we jump across to Julia is I'll specify specifically. So Nate's character pleasure. So it was like the like emotional leverage specifically for Nate's character's vice.
Yeah.
That's what we'll call it, emotional leverage. Meg's gonna Stupor, Fight Club.
Yeah, violence-induced adrenaline.
Okay. Weird bubble. Okay, amazing. And then yeah, premonition, like a fate twisting kind of stress relief. That's interesting. That's very interesting. It'll be fun to see how that pans out. Julia. What makes you the lurkiest lurk of all the lurks?
The lurkiest lurk that ever lurked.
Yes.
So, again, all of them looked really good. I decided, I've never played this game before, so I decided to go really basic. I'm just infiltrator.
Sure.
I'm real good at getting into things, basically.
So yeah, you are not affected by quality or tier when you bypass security measures. So yeah, one of the things that dictates how hard a dice roll is going to be is circumstance. I mean, if you had a high quality lock or tier references, like the kind of the level, the CR of whatever it is that you're doing. So yeah, you ignore all kind of disparity
Yeah,
from just going
it
down
basically, I think you put it really well when you explained to me, it's a bit like in Skyrim, like if you come across a master lock and your lockpick's not high enough, it'll say you can't even try. Whereas no matter what the quality of the lock, we could go into a bank and have the like, oh my god, this is a Heinemann 5, no, nobody can pick this, and my character just goes, watch me try.
Yeah.
And I can't necessarily do it, but I can at least have a go.
Yeah.
At the really, really hard stuff.
And it would be like you wouldn't be disadvantaged compared to old Toe Bob's toolbox lock. Like unpicking that either. Like you can give everything a fair shot. Okay, amazing.
Right, yeah.
Infiltrator. Who is your close ally and who is your fated rival?
So for the ally, I think there is a former servant from her household who essentially taught her all of her lurky skills growing up,
Sure.
but has been let go by the family because after the eschaton, guess what? He's an Asavar and his eyes turned red. So the family kind of shooed him out. But my character has stayed in touch, and so he is one of her kind of contacts in the city. I didn't really have a name until 2 minutes ago because everyone was giving their allies and rivals names. So I'm like, Samuel. His name's Samuel. Whatever.
Perfect, Samuel.
Yeah.
And we'll give poor old Samuel a surname in a bit. It's okay. So Samuel.
He'll have a surname one day.
Your old, like one of your old kind of butler types.
Yeah. That's
and a fated rival. Who doesn't like you?
Well, my rival, I think, is going to be a lurk from another gang, who I just kind of come across from time to time. He has a bit of a history of like swiping scores out from under me. He seems to delight in keying me off massively.
Are we talking like finally cracking the safe just to find it empty, bar and note?
They're saying haha or whatever. Yeah, exactly. I think he's a bit of a poser. He calls himself the Raven.
The Raven.
The Raven. Yes.
The middle name Raven. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So Samuel and the Raven. And after after come 5 p.m. every day, how do you relax?
So she's part of a noble family, and I went with duty, partly because she kind of has to put an appearance in with her family fairly often, but I don't think they are her main duty. I think what she likes to do with her ill-gotten gains is contribute to charitable causes throughout the city. Okay. There seems to be a drive in her to try and make a difference with the money she has access to. So I think that's what she spends a lot of her resources on.
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's similar to sort of like obligation, but yeah. So.
Oh, sorry. Is that what it's called? Obligation. Yeah.
I mean, it is a duty to. You're devoted to a family, a cause, an organisation, a charity. Etc.
That's the one.
Duty. Obligation.
Yeah.
We'll leave obligation. Obligation. Okay, charity. Bam. Wonderful. Okay, we have 5 crafted characters. We'll find out in a future video what exactly. We'll finish painting the picture, but we've got the outlines, we've got the sketches, and we'll also drop some names for them in the near future. But you aren't just 5 individuals floating around this city, lost in a sea of vengeful spirits. You are a crew. You are a gang. You are a singular. And the crew, much in the same that, you might. Thomas Shelby is an important person, but is he more important than the Peaky Blinders? Who knows? We'll find out. The crew is basically a character in its own right, and we've kind of hashed out a couple of ideas for this. There's different types of kind of criminal enterprise that you're kind of known for. So some of the one, there's like Bravos, which are like, I don't know, like the Pinkertons. There's assassins, there's cultists and all sorts. But what have we decided we're going for? Hands on buzzers.
We've decided that we're going to be smugglers.
We are smugglers. Okay, and we're not just any sort of smugglers. What reputation have we decided? Meg, you, back of the class.
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
What reputation? Oh my gosh. You've put me on the spot.
Yeah, this is the acquisition of stress right here. You're going to have to
Yes, it
head
is.
down to the fight clubs later.
Oh my gosh. We are savvy.
Yes,
right?
we are savvy
Yes,
smugglers.
we are savvy.
So yeah, we are known as a group of individuals. So we've kind of discussed through the particularities of Elysia, and given what we know of the background so far, you're known as being very kind of savvy, smugglers of sort of like arcane contraband, right? Like, so things that certain people within the city would rather you not have. You are professionals at acquiring those things and then moving them through the city primarily, but especially with like a lurk and a spider with all their know-whats, and a goblin that knows what those know-whats are, and a dragon scent who can butter people up to find out where they are, and then a cutter to go in and punch everyone in between you and it. Arcane contraband, savvy. You have to have a home base. Every gang needs a lair. What lair have we landed on?
So we decided that my character has inherited a family townhouse or manor in a sort of haunted, semi-abandoned area of the city.
Yes. So, again, in a future video, we'll go through the various districts of the city to introduce you to the various facets of Elysia. Yes, like an abandoned, abandoned manor. Very Wayne Mansion / the Batcave vibes going on there, I would argue. And your hunting grounds is where you tend to operate, like the small patch of turf that you primarily operate in. Who remembers what hunting grounds we picked?
We picked the night market.
Yes, so the night market analogy. So, effectively, a tavern, a bar, a place of drinking and debauchery called the Spectre, in like a middle class gentrification, people with more money than they know what to do with, so they only really kind of do weird or morally ambiguous things with. The Spectre is an establishment within there, and we kind of had this idea for a prohibition secret bar place where you deliver these arcane contraband items that you've gathered from around the city. Cool. So much in the same way that you all have special abilities, the crew also gets a special ability. So anyone that joins the crew, because NPCs can be part of it as well, they kind of all have this special ability. So we've decided on, so you get 2 to begin with, and we've decided on all hands, which means during kind of downtimes you're able to do more stuff, basically. Let me flick to
It means our
Yeah.
cohorts can do more stuff. So, like the NPCs we hire.
That's it. So yeah, they're not just sitting around wasting away the hours. So there we are. Yeah, so during downtime, one of your cohorts may perform a downtime activity for the crew to acquire an asset, reduce heat, or work on a long-term project. So normally that's stuff that you would be expected to do. But yeah, one of your cohorts. So some of your minions can do that for you. And there were two others that we were weighing up. We hadn't quite made a decision on. One is called Just Passing Through, and the other is called Leverage. So Just Passing Through, during downtime, you take -1 heat. So heat is effectively, it's like the wanted stars from GTA. So ideally, you want as little heat as you can, but enough heat that people know it was you, so your reputation goes up. Because if you get no heat, no one knows you did it. But yeah, just passing through, you take less heat. When your heat is 4 or less, you get extra dice to deceive people when you pass yourselves off as ordinary citizens. Whereas leverage, your crew supplies illicit goods for other factions. Your success is good for them. Whenever you gain reputation, gain an additional reputation. So the idea being, presumably, that as you're going around town procuring these things, all factions, even your enemies, will know that should they need something gotten and smuggled, they could turn to you, because your reputations precede you. So yeah, what are we thinking?
I certainly like the infamy aspect of the second one. And I think it's quite cool, us being sort of like this infamous gang that can just procure anything and everything.
Sure, okay.
Add some street cred to our modus operandum.
Okay, that's fair. That's a good shout. I mean, so that's the pro leverage argument. Who wants to take the pro just passing through position, and then we'll put it to a democratic vote. No one's feeling too hot on just passing through, it would seem.
I didn't mind the sound of just passing through, but
yeah,
depends on whether anyone else has strong feelings either way.
Yeah, effective. I mean, they are kind of two sides of the coin, isn't it? Like less notice or more notice.
I have a question, Dan.
Yes, I have an answer, Errol.
Is it likely that people know the name of our gang, but not necessarily who comprises of our gang names-wise? Because I feel like I would go towards leverage if that is the case, from a personal character point of view. But if people are like, oh, gang X, and the name and blood type and date of birth and social security number of each member.
Sure. So I would argue, so the gang has a tier level. Like your crew will have a tier level. As that goes up, that shows you've got more clout within the city. So I suspect you start at tier 0. So if you had the leverage ability, I suspect it would be like in the circles that whispers pass through. There would be discussion of like, oh, there's some people working out of that, out of that district. And if you need something, they can get it for you. But then they might not necessarily know you until you turn up, kind of thing. But certainly if you get to sort of like higher tiers, then someone will take one look at you and go, oh, you're the goblin from that crew. So
leverage feels more spicy. How spicy do we want to be?
I'm always up for spicy.
Just sort of like low to high levels of spice.
How many chili peppers?
Yeah.
Mechanically as well, reputation is the way that our crew gets more turf. So if we're getting twice the reputation every time, then we're going to get more turf quicker, which might be good for a campaign.
Yes, that's very true. And for the smugglers, turf is effectively like a like what you like lines of contraband kind of thing. From what I understand, yeah. Instead of hunting grounds, you have cargo types. So yeah,
Maybe-
turf helps expand on that.
Maybe as a group we should like work on a little graffiti tag that we use to sort of, claim our turf.
A little
You know,
business card that you leave at the
little
scene of the
business,
crime.
yeah. What is our gang name? We didn't quite come up with anything, did we?
We haven't come up with one.
We
yet.
haven't. The Bombastic Bubble Gang. How could we? The BBG. How could we turn that into a little graffiti
Was-
tag?
Julia's
Gone.
rival was the crow, right? Or something to do with
Raven.
Raven,
Raven.
sorry. And you had a rival that was the JC. You had a rival that was like the.
The Blackthorn.
I kind of feel like maybe a dead bird with like
Yeah.
thorns in it, like would really
Ooh.
like
And
to
also,
our.
a little thing I wrote was that my character's mother was a falconer. She used to breed falcons, and there's still like remnants of that around the house.
Okay.
Bird skull,
Yeah.
graffiti bird skull. Gonna kill
You've
them.
been robbed by, and then little bird skull peppered with thorns. Amazing. Okay.
You've been hit by a smooth criminal. Ba-da-bum,
We get-
ba-da-bum-bum.
We get caught because we're like elaborately, okay, I just need to finish this to place the feather and the skull.
It sounds like listening to all that, it sounds like we're swaying towards leverage for the go hard or go home side of criminal enterprise. Okay, so we've got all hands and leverage. So there will be no idle thumbs among your minions and people know of you. Okay, amazing. The crews also get upgrades. As smugglers, you automatically get training prowess. So earlier I mentioned that when you get XP, you can allocate it to various parts of your character sheet. As smugglers, given it's such a physical job, if you allocate an XP to your prowess track, you add 2 instead each time. So you train up your prowess skills twice as fast. You also get a free vehicle, which can be a boat or a carriage. So either is usable. Elysia has a canal network and a large river that runs, or a chunk of a large river that runs through it. But what are we thinking? Are we going by water or by cobblestone?
I do quite like the idea of a boat.
Yeah.
Boat is cool.
Yeah.
Can we have a boat that we paint wheels on like the side of it, so we try and like make it look like a carriage when it's out of the water?
Are we going to put like go faster flames on it as well?
I mean, well, yeah, you've gone for leverage, so all kind of inconspicuous ideas have gone out the window.
I kind of feel bad for Julia's character, because Julia's character is like, oh, I'm gonna get noticed.
Little bit.
Effectively, it'd be like James Bond turning up to a secret mission, but like in a car with hydraulics. Okay, well,
I kind of feel like there's still room for plenty, because there's a difference between like being known and like it's like being famous and being infamous, and you can be infamous without really being known. Like, you'll be known by your alias, by your calling card, by what you leave behind at a crime scene, but no one will actually necessarily know you as the person, the individual.
they call him Strider. He's one of them rangers. Yeah. I see where you're going from. Yeah, okay, that's fair. Okay, so we've got prowess, training prowess, we've got a canal boat. To save us all some time, we put it to a vote, and we're also, from this abandoned manor of ours, we've got, everyone's got their own quarters, so they can sleep at the hideout. And there's a workshop in there, which will come in very handy for people like ERIOL's Goblin with the arcane crafting bits. Yeah, training warehouse, canal boat, quarters, and workshop. Last but not least, much like yourselves, your crew will also have a friend and a foe. So, we've all kind of figured out who the friend is. That being the lovely gent that runs the Spectre, who is a long in the tooth, old and wizened Sanguivar. We don't have a name for him yet, so we'll just put Mr. Spectre for now.
Daddy Spectre.
So Daddy Spectre, and we haven't really figured out a foe. Now, if between the 5 of you there's like an idea that's been formulating that you think, oh, it'd be really cool if our crew rival is Blur. But if there's not like a common consensus, that is 100% something I can come up with myself.
I feel like there's a few of us at least who have some kind of beef with the Church of Aya.
Yeah.
So it could be connected to that. But otherwise, that's my idea.
Yeah, how are we feeling about that idea?
Especially
Either that
we're
or it's a different gang.
Well, yeah, I was thinking of a gang, maybe.
Considering that at least 3 of us have rivals who are potentially in different gangs.
We've got the Raven, Blackthorn, and Alejandro. So potentially, the strands of fate could tie all those 3 together into just like the mirror image, the Black Mirror version of all of you.
Ooh, that does sound juicy.
The War Dogs Inc. compared to the Warhounds Limited.
Total squares compared to us cool kids.
Okay, you know what? I'm thinking I'm liking that, and I mean, you're absolutely right, JC. Like, they're going through some of the ideas that have been thrown around. There's a lot of anti-church sentiment, like Church of Aya sentiment. So there could definitely be a link between your rival and like that faction. Okay, so I'm just gonna put like rival crew for now.
Yeah.
In brackets, total squares.
Total squares. Bam.
The busted bubble
That's-
boobies.
I was going to say the crew name is Total Squares, but yeah,
Total squares.
that's that's a work in progress.
Total squares is way better.
Then we could be the triangles because it's the strongest shape.
Hey.
Ooh.
Wouldn't you want to be circular because of bubble?
It's such a nerdy way to like deflect someone calling you a square. It's like, actually, I'm a triangle because it's the strongest shape.
Arguably the most square thing you could say in that instance.
And that's when my character punches you in the face for being a nerd.
Amazing. Okay, so we've got the skeletons of our 5 characters. We've got the outline of our crew. The next step would be to kind of flesh them all out and kind of really kind of drill into what it is that grounds them in the streets of Elysia. But now is not the time for that. There will be that'll be in future videos. So yeah, I'm excited. Dragon Scent Slide, Wolfkin Cutter, Goblin Whisper, Ace of our Spider, Ace of our Lurk. We'll see what they look like in their completed forms. But until that time, if you like the video, make sure to hit the like button and comment down below on which of these characters is piquing your interest the most. And Also, if you've got any ideas for the crew names, make sure to chuck those down below. And if you're excited and keen to see what this campaign is going to shape up to look like, if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for notifications of when we do new releases, because this will be coming out very regularly when it hits your screens. So I wouldn't want you to miss out. You know, like the life of a criminal is fast paced. Gotta keep up with it. So, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for character creating. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.